Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
On Senator Gould's question, my understanding of how it will work is that when a driver is stopped, he or she will first have to pass a screening test, a saliva test on the roadside with a screening device, and the threshold on this, with this screening device will be 25 nanograms. And of course that won't be used in court at all, but it will be used as a threshold for a further blood test if the driver doesn't pass that first screening test. You've just mentioned, Dr. Wood, that over 25 would indicate recent cannabis use. And would over 25 be a good indication of impairment?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any research that had someone at 25 that wasn't impaired.
So would the combination of, because I think this is the government's point of view, that the combination of failing the first screening test, although not evidence at court, and then failing the test between 2 and 5 would be a good indication that the driver was impaired at the moment of driving.
Yeah, if that 25 test is reliable, then it is definitely an indication that it's most likely it was very recent. And then I guess to back up the blood test later, the problem is correlating that 25 with the blood test, and like is very difficult. But I mean, now you have two pieces of evidence, one showing it looks like it was quite recent, another more definitive showing you the exact blood levels. And then, I mean, obviously with the observations of the police officer, I mean, it is a fairly robust evidence.
Now, just a clarification or maybe a little science lesson here. You mentioned a couple of times and in your presentation that there is research on a possible alternative ratio, which would be a ratio of THC to its metabolites. Would you please explain to us, laymen and laywomen, what metabolites are?
So when you ingest cannabis, the active ingredient that most people think about is THC. So then your liver actively breaks the THC down into 11-hydroxy, which is still an active component, and then further breaks it down into things that can be either eliminated in your urine or eliminated through your bile. So it's kind of the breakdown process of the drug THC, and how your body gets rid of it is through the metabolites.
And how would that make it a more reliable ratio than THC blood ratio?
Because it shows you it'll give you an idea of how recent it was, because obviously very recent is going to be almost all THC. As time goes on, you'll get more metabolites.
All right.
Also, as I said, some of the metabolites are active. So if you just focus on THC and not on other, which actually will get higher than THC levels eventually, if you just focus on this, but the metabolite's higher and it's active, you still have, so it gives a better totality of evidence.
All right, thank you very much for this. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Senator Barros, you had a supplementary on that very point, but quickly,
yes,
of course.
It's very quick. Just with respect to the initial roadside screening, what we've been talking about here is an oral fluid screening. So won't that only detect presence and not any sort of level of impairment, correct? The oral
well, I think the oral,
devices.
what I understand, I mean, what I've seen put out on the drug swipe, I think is one of the ones being tested. It'll have like a cutoff level that it will detect as presence within the saliva. I've seen the correlation of the saliva to the blood's not bad, but I mean, they definitely need to work on that. Yeah. But does that mean definitely impairment? No.
No. Yes, thank you.